Hey guys, my name's Dave. I am on staff at North Point. I get to work with the Great Partners team, and today I am joined by Justin Piercy. Justin is the Service Programming Director at Connexus Church up in Canada. Justin, how are you, man?
I'm good. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to be here.
So today we want to talk about online streaming, but specifically we want to dive into the analytics around that. A lot of churches during this season have started doing their services online. Some people are doing the church online platform thing. Some people are doing Facebook Live. Some people are doing YouTube Live. And I think after the first little while of everybody scrambling to try to get their online services up and running, now people are starting to pivot and start to ask the question of how they're winning online. How do we know that we're having success with our online streams? And that's what I want to talk to you about today, because I know that you guys have been learning some very interesting things up there, right?
Yeah, we've been diving in just like everybody else, and we're liking what we're seeing. We're still learning, obviously, but yeah, it seems to be going in a good direction. So
okay, so unpack that a little bit. You're liking what you're seeing and you're going in a good direction. What is the thing that's determining for you guys that how do you know that you're heading in the right direction?
Yeah, well, we look at overall a couple things. Number one, are our metrics moving in the right direction? So are things going up? We benchmark numerous metrics to determine that. We also look at how many people are we reaching? Basically, is the number of viewers going up? Then we try and figure out who we're reaching. From there, are we actually reaching unchurched people? And then from there, are we actually connecting and driving those people to greater levels of engagement? So we measure wins kind of at every step along that trajectory.
That is fantastic. Now, even just with what you said, I know there's a whole bunch of things we can unpack, and I'm going to try and keep this to the 20 minutes that we had allotted, okay?
Sure.
What a lot of churches are doing at the moment is they're measuring, or what I'm seeing them measure is just the number of people who are viewing the stream, whether it's on Facebook or whether it's on YouTube or their church online platform. You guys are obviously measuring a lot more than that, right? What would your key metrics be?
Well, we look at number of watch hours for one overall for our platform. So whether, we're getting more viewers and they're watching for less time, or a fewer number of viewers for more time, that overall number of watch hours tells you how much of your content is being consumed overall. So that's a big one for us. We do look at number of views and number of concurrent viewers per stream to try and get a sense of, on our programming, are we seeing any drop-offs or builds based around certain elements of our service? And the concurrent viewer number kind of gives us a little bit of insight into that. We also look at average watch time per viewer to try and gauge, is our content resonating? And then obviously we're trying to build our subscriber base as well, to try and, get our content being pushed to more and more people. So those are a couple of the key metrics that we look at pretty regularly.
So based on everything that you just said, it's obvious to me, at least, that you're streaming on YouTube. I assume you're doing not necessarily live, but you're more simulated live. Would that be right?
We actually do full live streams for all of our services on Sunday on YouTube.
Okay.
We do toss in playback elements, just based around some of the restrictions of how many people we can actually have in one place with the whole COVID-19 thing. But, we I would say YouTube as our primary platform. We do stream on Facebook as well. And we pipe YouTube over to our website. So anybody viewing on our website is also viewing on YouTube.
So why are you choosing YouTube as a primary platform over Facebook, for example?
Well, the thing that stands out to me the most is that the average watch time on YouTube tends to be a lot longer than it is on Facebook. So Facebook is more, designed, people in their feeds, they're scrolling. You can sometimes get more viewers on Facebook, but it's a lower quality view because people are watching, for probably, I would say on our channel, about 10 times shorter on Facebook than they are on YouTube, based on an average view time.
So what is your average view time?
Yeah, it's hard because, those average views on Facebook are so short. So depending on the service, we do sometimes see more views on Facebook. But like I said, it's like for, 3 minutes or under. On YouTube, our average view time is just north of the 15-minute mark, I think, for the last month. Yeah, we're 1546 on YouTube, average view time, which is a lot higher quality view if we can get somebody watching for 15 minutes on YouTube versus 90 seconds on Facebook. That's a lot better for us.
Yeah, we're actually seeing the same sort of thing. We're seeing view times on Facebook being around at the high end, 3% of the total service time. Whereas over on YouTube, we're averaging somewhere in the 38, 39, 40% range of the entire view time. So we're seeing the same thing. Now, Facebook will give us a lot more views. Like it'll say more people watched, but when you dive down one layer and get to that 3 seconds or under pre-roll, that automatic roll that Facebook does, it's very interesting to see how that starts to change your analytic, right?
Yeah, totally.
So based on that information, what are you doing as far as your service time, service length goes based on the information that you're getting from those YouTube analytics?
Yeah, so one of the things that we did was we were using a proprietary player on our website, and we actually changed that last year to a YouTube player because we were finding that kind of locked in website embed player from a proprietary service wasn't generating anything for us from an algorithm standpoint. It wasn't like those views weren't working for us. So we figured, hey, if we can get those viewers looking on YouTube when they're on our website, that's going to get the flywheel spinning over on the YouTube side and get them serving our content to more people, which we've seen about 40% of our overall views on YouTube are coming from YouTube features. So YouTube search, recommendations, suggested videos, that kind of thing, which I think is pretty good. I don't really know what the industry standards are for that, but so that's one thing that we did. We've also tightened up our service for the online world. So we're, shooting for the 40-minute mark right now. We tend to hit 45 more, like that's what we've been hitting the last couple of weeks. But, if our average view time is 15 minutes, we want to be, it's better to have it, that's a bigger percentage of a 40-minute service than it is of a 65-minute service, for example.
Yeah, totally.
One other change that we made that I think is important to note, we noticed on our website analytics that viewers were coming on the hour, regardless of what our service times were, mostly organic viewers. So people searching for church on YouTube or on Google rather, were arriving at our website on the hour. So we actually made a shift to make our services, starting this weekend, we're doing them on the hour, every hour over the course of Sunday morning Eastern time to kind of cooperate with what organic users on the internet are doing.
Wow. Okay, so when you're shortening your services from 60 or 65 minutes down to 40 minutes, what is being cut or what are you doing less of?
Less music and shorter sermon are the bigger pieces of that. Things that we're increasing energy behind are any live elements where we're actually interacting with our viewer base kind of on camera. You see YouTubers and Twitch streamers do this all the time, but when they're like, hey, so-and-so, welcome to the stream. Oh, so-and-so, thank you for sharing. So glad to see you do that, get in the stream in front of your friends. That kind of interaction really generates a lot more sharing and a lot more interaction. So it kind of creates like a flywheel effect. And those have been some of the highest return things that we've experimented with on our stream. So we're doing a little bit less music, a little bit less sermon, shorter sermon, and a little bit more of those interactive segments. So that's kind of from a programming hat. We're trying to figure out how we can be creative given the government restrictions around people gathering and all that. Like that's a challenge, right? But those interactive segments are really where we've seen the most fruit for sure.
Man, I love how you guys are making those adjustments. Now, are you guys doing a countdown at the top of the service?
We do, but what we do is we have the host kind of banter with the interactive audience during that countdown. So it's like they're on camera. There is a countdown on the screen, but it's not like a full screen stream starting in this time. So basically they're interacting with people, making like small talk, I guess is the best way to put it, with people in the chat. And also, we try and squeeze in some short announcements for new guests there.
Okay.
And we're doing that on our prime service times starting. We don't even do 5 minutes. It's like a full 10 minutes of like host small talk with the audience before the service starts.
Wow. And have you shifted worship at all? Is worship still at the front of the service? Is it at the end of the service? What are you doing there?
We're still experimenting with that, to be honest. So for a couple weeks, we observed what looked like a little bit of a fall off when we started music. Even actually when the host started talking about doing music coming up, we saw a little bit of a drop off there. And we tried moving it to after the sermon, just one song this past week. And it doesn't look like we saw the same degree of fall off over the course of our stream. That being said, I think we want to run that experiment for a few more weeks before we kind of make a definitive, evaluation of that. But that is something we're playing with for sure.
So just to explain, YouTube allows you to watch your videos in Creator Studio along with a graph that shows you exactly when people are dropping out of the video or out of the service. And you guys are using that to make your programming decisions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you're leveraging that to program the next week's service or to cut things from a feed.
Yeah, you can make a lot more informed assumptions about your audience, because on your analytics, you can see, who's coming by organic search, who's coming direct, and you can see what those users are doing. And then when you compare that to your YouTube analytics, you can make a lot more informed decisions than you can when you're just looking at a single metric.
So you talked earlier about you're getting a lot of traffic from YouTube recommending your videos, and I know you're being very strategic in playing the algorithm to make it so it does that. Can you explain exactly what you're doing for people?
So a couple things. Number one, we use search engine tools to try and name our series what people are already searching, and name our messages even what people are already searching. We'll try and guess what the question is using these tools that the message is going to answer. And we'll title the message and do all our keywording around that. We use a tool called vidIQ around the tagging in YouTube, which is really great. And one other thing that we started doing was just kind of like a casual experiment, and we thought, hey, let's try this, was, we do right now 4 morning services, 4 or 5, I can't remember, we've added a couple. And we actually turned off DVR on YouTube, which allows users to drag the playhead back and forth. So they can't see how long we've been streaming. And we just keep the stream up for the whole morning over the course of all the services. We don't start and stop it. And what that does is it loads all of the viewer engagement into that single stream video. So YouTube thinks it's basically as popular a video as 4 services. And then when we edit that service down, that video down inside the YouTube editor at the end of the day, we edit it down to a single sermon to be posted on demand. And then that video has all of those metrics already loaded into that video by the time we post it. So YouTube is already saying, hey, this is a really popular video. It had all these comments. It's got all these likes. It's got all this watch time. So right out of the gate, as soon as we post it on demand, YouTube is saying, hey, this is popular content. I want to show it to more people. And then I think that's how we're kind of getting more of those recommended YouTube search stuff going on.
Man, I love that. That is such a great idea. And so when it goes to on demand, when you're moving that live stream to on demand, you're editing everything out except just one of the messages, right?
Yeah, all the time between services, all the other services except for the one we're using. So we're taking basically 4 services worth of content and editing it down into just a single sermon and then posting. That's our on-demand content.
Real smart. So just to recap, you are basically running one long live stream across the entire morning to get the most out of that content as you live stream. But you're also getting the most out of the content on the front end by keyword optimizing the video before it even is played. I know you're doing a great job of converting new guests. Can you walk us through the process of doing that? So when somebody comes on for the first time onto YouTube, watches it for the first time, what are you doing to connect with them, engage with them, and then ultimately convert them?
Yeah. So an important delineation, I think, here is when YouTube is talking about engagement, that's not necessarily what we as churches are looking for when we're talking about engagement. So what we're actually looking for is we're looking for them to reach out and connect with us. We're looking, for people to take next steps within the context of our church, maybe join an online group, maybe give, any of those things. And what we started doing was we started by, taking our connection card. I don't know how many churches do that a new guest would fill out if they come into a new an in-person service. And we made basically a digital version of that. We posted a URL on the screen and told people to go sign up. And it was a dismal failure in terms of the actual metrics and conversion. When you post a URL on your screen and expect people to type it in somewhere and go and take action, it just doesn't really happen. That was our experience anyway. So we were trying to figure out, okay, so if this isn't working, what is like a native interaction in the YouTube space that is easy for people to take, or the website space? So, getting people to comment was a big one. That's an easy step for people to take on YouTube, but not very quantifiable from our end. Probably the most significant thing that we've been able to do is we use a tool on our website called Intercom, which is an intelligent marketing tool. And when people come on our website, it basically detects, what type of user is this, or is this a new user? And it can give them intelligent messages based on the data that it pulls from them. And you can actually set it to really have them fill out a card without them realizing what they're doing. They just think they're interacting with a chatbot. And it's a lot more native of an interaction. And we tried it. And the first Sunday that we tried it, we didn't even say anything about it. We just kind of put it there and put in some bot features to see what would happen. And we had, I think, 40 interactions with new guests versus one interaction with a new guest using the online form. And we talked about the online form numerous times across 5 services, or 4 or 5 services. And we got 1 interaction with a new guest. And Intercom, we didn't say anything about, and we had 40 interactions with new guests. So, we're trying to lean more into tools like that are, feel like a native interaction for somebody online versus, okay, go to this place and fill out all of your information into a form for us. That just, people don't do that really, especially new guests. So that's probably the top way right now that we're converting new guests.
And so can you tell us again, what was the name of that tool?
It's called Intercom.
And just to clarify, this is what you're using on your website, but your website is pulling the stream from YouTube.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that was clear. Dude, it sounds like you are absolutely crushing it. I love the way that you're integrating all these different tools across the platform. That is fantastic. So just to sum up, if somebody was, if a church was maybe asking the question, hey, I wonder if I should get onto YouTube, what would your answer be?
There's a lot more unchurched people on YouTube than there are on your website.
Yeah. Hey, man, thank you so much for sharing all of that information so openly. It sounds like you're doing a great job. Where can people go if they want to watch one of your services? Because I know they're up on demand right now. What's the name of the YouTube channel?
Connexus Church. So if you go to youtube.com/Connexus Church, you can check out what we're doing. We're still experimenting. We don't have it all figured out, but we're doing our best just like everybody else.
Yeah. Awesome. You're doing a great job, mate. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, man.
Cheers.